Yeah, morning everyone. Please feel free to unmute your mics and ask any questions because I quite like a bit of interactivity rather than just sitting here going on with my dulcet northern Yorkshire tones. But today we're going to talk about CTAs. So I'm just going to share my screen. There we go. Now, does anybody know what a CTA is in the digital world? You'll have all done it. Tony's nodding. Well, Vicky's shaking her head, Tina's shaking her head, Keith's nodding, obviously. I mean, he's the action man in this group. Do you know what I mean? So he knows what he's talking about. So a CTA stands for call to action. So on anything you do, and this is anything, this can be if you do some marketing through Joe, if you've got merchandise coming from Jodie or Becca, if you haven't got a call to action on something, it's sort of a kind of a waste. My business partner calls me CTA Dave because I literally have to have call to actions on everything. And there are so many ways of doing it as well, which I will go into in a bit, but it's more vast than you think. It isn't just click here, ring me, that type of thing. There's some really clever stuff you can start doing now, which is sort of subliminal marketing, which I can sort of go into a little bit as well down the sales process. Now, for people who've been on the calls previously with my insights, I talked about the sales cycle and the buying journey because I can come in and train teams on how to do that as well. But it's fully understanding what your client is doing at any one point, and if you're answering their questions and what their intention is, whether it's on the website or whether it's contacting their business. So a CTA is an instruction or an action that you want your visitor on a website to take. It can be an interaction, so it could be things like a quiz, watching a video, listening to music, or an audio piece, if you've got an audio book or a podcast like Tony. Or it could be book an appointment, send to a calendar, Calendly, Acuity, all these ones that we embed into websites as well. There are some clever ones as well, which I'll talk about externally. But the reason I wanted to touch on this is that everybody talks about lead conversion. Everybody wants more customers. Everybody says, I'll get traffic to my website, but I don't know why they're not converting. Everybody says, I don't get traffic to my website. Can I get some traffic to my website? Can you help me do that? So there is a mixed range as to what a call to action can do, hence why I thought I'd talk about it today. They are really important, and I will show you some examples towards the end of this that actually demonstrate the difference of what is available and what you can do on a website and how, when a client lands on it, they're guided down a certain route. And I think this is what websites are now. They're very, very interactive. They become a part of your team. They can take appointments. They can answer questions. They can, interact in any way, shape or form, educate. If you educate a person on your website, the chances of them staying on there is thousands of % more than if you just show them some boring information that doesn't really interact with where they're at. So I'll take it back a step. So if we look at, say, for example, you've done some social media marketing with Rachel, and she says, right, the strategy that I want you to do is that we want you to achieve this goal. Now, to achieve this goal, one, is the marketing that you're putting onto social media the right tone? Have you done some client profiling? Now, client profiling is basically examining the people that will land on your site based on the information you've provided prior to them landing on your site. What that means is, if you don't fully understand your client and the mentality that they're in at the point when they hit your website or see your piece of marketing or read a piece of literature you might have sent them in the post or whatever, you have to understand how warm that client is prior to them coming to your site. So for example, let's talk about lean. We're obviously working with Michelle. It's public knowledge, so I'm not giving any secrets away here. Lean, for example, is quite a complex process. So it's more than just understanding about saving a bit of time. Now, there are different levels of depth of understanding when it comes to lean. And trying to put that across on a website is very difficult because you can't educate someone to the level that Michelle understands on a website. So you have to tiptoe and drip feed and give a little bit of information with a few CTAs, with a few calls to action to engage that person, to get them to want to understand a little bit more. So if we understand it and explain it on a basic level, they then have the opportunity to follow the route that we decide to show them down the pathway to gaining more knowledge. And by doing that, that customer then has a choice. They could either say, right, well, I'm happy with the bit I've learned. I'm going to go. I don't really need to know any more about this, and I'm all right, and I'm off, and I've had a few tasks given to me, and off I go. But then they may go, actually, you know, I fancy reading a blog about this. I was quite interested in that little point that they've just made about travel, and I can save time by using this bag. So I follow this route that we give them. So read the blog, etc., and this, that, and the other. And then they go to this blog about travel. Then they go to a blog, then they've read the blog about travel and fully understand what the lean pack offers. And then we take them to where they can purchase the lean pack if they want, with some promotional offer or something like that. Each one is a call to action. So we understand that if somebody's reaching a point and they're ready to move on to the next step, it's their choice whether they want to do it, but it's understanding their knowledge when they're there. Now, somebody might be an expert in lean who lands on the website and goes, I already know all this. I just want to see a bit more about her book. You've got to make sure that your site answers that person's question at the same time it answers Joe Blogg's question, who doesn't understand about lean. So it's understanding your clients, the journey that they're on when they get to your website, and how you can engage with whatever level of knowledge that person has about you, your business, or what it is that you entail, and then how they proceed down that route to purchasing an item from you, or finding out more information, or booking an appointment. So that is in-depth client analysis and what we look into when we talk to people about their websites. So why do we use call to actions? Does anybody have any that they specifically use on their website at the moment, or do they use on the bottom of their email and a signature? Have you got anybody who's got a link to a Calendly? I mean, everybody's like, people are nodding because I'm talking to the converted, because you've all just put something in the chat which says, drop me an email, give me a call. And why have we done that? Because we want to engage with the people that are around us, and we're instructing them to actually reach out. But the one thing we don't understand at this point is the knowledge that that person has got about your company, which is why we do it this way, which is give 60 seconds to find out a little bit about the business and then see if we are interested in speaking to you. Now, obviously, we've got a few new guests on here. They all are in the financial sector, but they're all very different. So it's like, well, what call to action triggered each person in the group to think, actually, I'll speak to that person? Like, for example, Tina's got an award. Vicky's different in her accountancy, in the way that they work. And then Theo is like, right, well, we've got this and this and this. So everybody has a different offering. But to everybody on the call, that is a different perception. And they then think, well, which one do I want to go down? So why we use CTAs is basically to close any warm leads that you've generated through marketing, which again, underneath says the effort taken to generate that lead. So you've spent all this time working on your social media posts. You spent all this time working on LinkedIn. Anything you put out, if it doesn't have an appropriate call to action, and I don't just mean anything, not just find out more or ringers or whatever, it's appropriate to the information that you're putting on to the platform or you're sending out in your literature, which complements the amount of information that you've given them to the level of knowledge that they understand your business. So when it comes to websites, the more engaging and the more information you can give them at the level that they're willing to receive it, guess what? They stay on your site, because they take a few seconds just to come off your site, to look at your site and see if they want to stay, and that's it. But if you engage them, capture them, get the journey correct, they stay on your site. Obviously, educate them in specifics about your business. We're creating a lean lifestyle challenge for people to engage to on their website so they can get an understanding of lean. And then also the time of day that your client is on your site. What are the chances that they are there between 9 to 5 when you're working on your website? Or actually, will this call to action mean that you can generate that lead while you're asleep, eat while you're sleeping? So a couple of examples. Obviously our own. So this is our website. Straight away when you land on there are 3 call to actions. You've got book a free call, tell me more about the business, and a WhatsApp chat down at the bottom. Now, if you want to book a free call, takes you to the ability. There's a lovely picture of me. So then we've got myself and Dan. You can schedule a video chat, or you can actually have a face-to-face cuppa if you're locally based. And this used to change to a coffee cup, but we had a bit of a glitch this morning, so don't talk to me about that. So then you can obviously book your meetings in here, and people can see your time. So there's some really simple ones. Now, slightly more complex, a valeting company that we work with. You've got Urban Valet. The idea with this is that they wanted a clean and easy way to book a valet. So you come on, you choose how many cars you're booking in, 1, 2, or 3. Just choose one for the benefit. And we're taking them on a journey. They're answering the question, they're engaging with the client, and we're telling them what they can order, which basically means that they've got the lead. Because there's no, oh, well, what size car have I got? Well, we can actually see on the step you don't know what size your car is. You can check out a handy size guide, and it shows you which size of the car. So we're answering the questions as people are thinking them, which means that the person is not leaving this website. Let me just move these scale 1 second. There we are. And then last, the latest one we've done is Terms Occupational Health. I telephone them to give them a call. They can book an appointment into their Microsoft. So then again, you book an appointment, you choose your treatment. It takes you to whichever, which branch would you like to book into? Attleborough or Wyndham? Choose Wyndham, and then it takes you right through to all of the appointment scheduling, and even getting a quote. So on my old website, we've got the ability to showcase all our pricing, and we are transparent with our pricing. So people would select what they want, pick your site, pick your features, pick extra stuff. What else would you require? Again, taking them down this journey, getting them to finish exactly how we want them to, and then they can email themselves an estimate. But the call to action here is if they would like to get in touch afterwards. It isn't just about the quote, it's actually following up, because that's where the fortune is. His fortune is always in the follow-up. So you can either schedule a call, you can give them the option not to be contacted. We don't want to spam people, but little things like this about thinking about your client and where they're at on that buying journey, that's where Evolve Your Digital come in. And that's that. Any questions?